For the first time in history, the public was able to view the Accession Council ceremony for a new sovereign. Here are the best moments from a monumental day at St. James's Palace.
Yeah, this wasn't supposed to happen like this. No big announcement, no cameras, no warning. But at 11:23 p.m. on December 15th, while most of the country was asleep, King Charles signed a document that quietly set something in motion that the monarchy hasn't seen in decades. By the time morning came, the royal succession was no longer working the same way it had the day before. What makes this moment unsettling isn't the scandal. There was no abdication, no emergency speech, no sudden tragedy. Instead, it was handled in silence, behind closed doors, with only a few people in the room who understood what that signature truly meant. Messages were sent, legal systems shifted, governments across the Commonwealth were alerted before the public even knew something had changed. Here's the part that matters most. This wasn't about power today, it was about control tomorrow. And once this document was signed, the future of the crown stopped being theoretical. The palace insists everything is fine. Yet history tells us documents like this are never signed just in case. They are signed when time, health, and reality begin to apply pressure. So what exactly did King Charles authorize that night? And why does it quietly pull Prince William closer to the throne than anyone expected? Stay with us because what we're about to reveal explains everything. A night that wasn't meant for headlines. The most surprising part of this moment wasn't the document itself. What caught everyone off guard was the silence around it, the almost invisible way it unfolded. Imagine a world where millions follow every royal move. Yet on this particular night, there was nothing. No flashing cameras, no journalists camped outside palace gates, no official announcements or leaks. Even some senior palace staff weren't immediately briefed. They were told only if they needed to know. That alone hinted at the gravity of the situation. This wasn't a reaction to sudden turmoil. It wasn't a response to the scandal. Instead, it felt like preemptive action, a quiet measure designed to shape the future rather than be caught unprepared by it. The signing itself happened late at night, well after the usual ceremonial duties and public appearances were complete. The timing wasn't random. Monarchs, especially in the modern era, often make constitutional decisions when the world is asleep. Why? Because late-night hours offer privacy, focus, and a lack of distraction. In a world constantly bombarded by news alerts and social media, silence becomes a rare, almost sacred commodity. It allows decisions to be made with clarity, and that clarity was exactly what this moment demanded. There were no cameras, no flashing lights, no cheering crowds, just a handful of witnesses, aware of the weight of the decision, standing quietly in a room where history was being reshaped without a headline in sight. Those who were present weren't there to celebrate. This wasn't a joyous occasion. There were no smiles or congratulatory handshakes. There were no reporters scribbling notes. Instead, the atmosphere was calm, measured, and purposeful. Each signature, each stamp, each formal step was executed with care, as if the room itself recognized the historical significance of the act. It was almost ritualistic, a process that emphasized responsibility over spectacle. The world outside was unaware, yet inside those walls, the monarchy was quietly ensuring continuity and stability. What makes this moment historic isn't just who signed the document, but the timing and intent behind it. King Charles didn't act impulsively. He didn't make this decision under public pressure or media scrutiny. Every element, from the hour to the attendees, was carefully chosen. This was about control over the future, about laying down legal and procedural foundations that would govern the monarchy for decades to come. In essence, it was about foresight, about shaping outcomes rather than reacting to circumstances. Even subtle details matter in moments like this. The order of the signatures, the precise wording, the witnesses in the room, each choice had significance. Monarchs are acutely aware that history remembers not only decisions, but how decisions are made. By acting quietly, King Charles avoided unnecessary speculation and drama, but he also sent a message. The monarchy is capable of thoughtful, strategic action even in the modern, fast-paced world. This quiet, almost invisible action may seem minor on the surface, To the casual observer, it might appear as just another bureaucratic procedure. Yet the implications are profound. The monarchy's line of succession, its internal balance of power, and even the way the public perceives royal authority could shift quietly yet dramatically. The night was not about spectacle. It was about responsibility, foresight, and strategic planning that will likely echo for generations. By acting in this quiet, controlled manner, the palace ensured that the document's effects would unfold in a measured way. No chaos, no confusion. Only a structured, deliberate step toward modernization and stability. The night itself, with its stillness and secrecy, symbolized a monarchy in transition, aware of its traditions, but also conscious of the practical realities of the modern age. This was more than just a signing, it was a statement that the crown can evolve without losing its essence, that leadership can prepare without panic, and that decisions made in silence can be louder in impact than the loudest public declarations. And while the world slept, unaware, history quietly pivoted, and a new chapter in the monarchy began, one written with precision, foresight, and care. What makes this moment unforgettable is not only what happened, but why it happened at that particular hour, in that particular way, and under such deliberate conditions. The choices made during these quiet hours were far more consequential than any public appearance, speech, or media announcement could ever be. This night was a quiet turning point, a testament to planning over panic and control over chaos. Why the old succession system no longer work? For decades, royal succession followed a seemingly simple rule. A monarch ruled fully, with absolute authority, until they could no longer perform their duties. Only then did everything change at once. There was no middle ground. One day, a king or queen could manage state visits, approve legislation, and meet with world leaders. And the next day, if illness or age caught up, power shifted entirely to the heir. This abruptness made sense in the past. Life expectancy was shorter, and medicine could do very little to prolong active leadership. Leaders were either fully capable or completely incapacitated. There was no concept of a gradual decline or partial delegation. The system relied on binary outcomes. Either the monarch could work or they could not. But today, the reality is completely different. Medical science has advanced, allowing leaders to live longer and maintain partial function even with chronic conditions. Energy does not vanish suddenly, it fades unevenly. A monarch might still be sharp in decision-making for certain duties, yet struggle with the physical demands of public appearances, long ceremonies, or travel. Some responsibilities remain easily manageable, while others become too heavy. The old succession law, however, had no room for this gray area. There was no provision for partial delegation of powers. The system still assumed extremes, full power or full replacement. When Charles became king, he inherited this outdated framework. The stark, all-or-nothing nature of succession created multiple risks. Personal risk, for one. The pressure to continue performing at full capacity could harm the king's health.
Later today, Buckingham Palace has announced King Charles will give a rare personal health update.
Institutional risk was equally significant. Any sudden health problem could trigger rushed decisions, create public confusion, and spark political tension. Without a legal mechanism to manage gradual transitions, the monarchy risked appearing reactive rather than prepared. Public trust could be shaken, and the stability of centuries-old protocols might be questioned. The document Charles signed aimed to correct this flaw. It did not make a noise. It did not announce a dramatic abdication or public crisis. Instead, it quietly introduced legal flexibility, allowing the monarch to transfer certain powers to the heir if medical advice indicated it was necessary, without stepping down completely. The goal was to create a measured, orderly transition mechanism that respected both the institution and the individual. By addressing a problem that had been ignored for decades, Charles ensured the monarchy could function smoothly, even as human frailty gradually altered his capacity to serve. This approach also acknowledged a fundamental truth. Modern leadership is not binary. A monarch can remain effective in some areas, while needing support in others. The transitional document allowed for partial delegation, planned rather than forcing sudden, reactive changes. It was legal foresight disguised as a quiet procedure, a preventive step that avoided crisis while protecting the dignity of the crown. Health no longer works in black and white terms, and leadership today cannot be treated that way either. By creating legal flexibility, Charles ensured the monarchy could continue functioning without disruption, even as natural human limitations set in. What was once considered unthinkable, a king gradually sharing power while alive, became a practical necessity. This document was not just a legal adjustment. It was a forward-thinking solution to a problem the monarchy could no longer ignore. The consequences were profound, even if invisible to the public. The crown could now withstand gradual shifts in capacity without public alarm. The heir, Prince William, could prepare responsibly rather than reacting in crisis. And the institution itself remained stable, modernized, and adaptable, ready for realities no previous generation of monarchs had faced. This was not about weakness, it was about wisdom, not about surrender, but about ensuring continuity. By addressing the limitations of the old succession system, Charles transformed a rigid framework into one that reflected modern human experience and protected the monarchy for generations to come. The human side no one likes to discuss, behind the crowns, titles, and ceremonial grandeur, lies something often ignored: the very human limits of the person wearing them. King Charles did not rush into kingship. In fact, he waited longer than any modern monarch in history, observing, learning, and preparing. When he finally ascended the throne, he brought decades of experience, knowledge, and a deep understanding of duty, but he also brought age, the inevitable reality of a body that had carried him through years of public service and personal sacrifice. Leadership, especially at that level, demands more than knowledge or authority. It demands stamina, focus, and endurance, day after day, year after year. This decision to sign a document allowing a managed transfer of powers was not about weakness. On the contrary, it was a rare form of honesty and self-awareness. Charles recognized that a monarch's capacity isn't static. Long working days, demanding meetings, global scrutiny, and constant decision-making take a toll, and even a king must acknowledge when the physical and mental energy required may exceed what is sustainable over time. Those closest to him understood that this move was not an admission of incapacity, but a recognition of reality, a calculated step to ensure both his own health and the stability of the monarchy. Taking such a step requires courage, particularly in an institution built on centuries of tradition, resilience, and the image of unbroken endurance. Monarchs are expected to serve until death, projecting strength and continuity. To challenge that narrative, to introduce a legal mechanism for gradual power sharing, meant putting pragmatism over pride, foresight over ceremony, and the well-being of the next generation above immediate public perception. Charles faced not only personal reflection, but also the weight of centuries of precedent. More importantly, this move revealed a side of monarchy that is rarely discussed: care for the future and for the heirs who will bear the weight of responsibility next. Unplanned or abrupt transitions are not just institutional headaches, they leave emotional and political scars on the next in line. Prince William was not merely inheriting the crown, he was being offered time to prepare, to understand the responsibilities in increments, and to step into his role without crisis or chaos. Charles's choice acknowledged that a smooth, thoughtful transition strengthens the monarchy as an institution and protects the individuals involved from unnecessary strain. This human element, the willingness to confront limits, to act out of honesty rather than expectation, and to plan for continuity with care, is a layer of royal life that rarely reaches public view. While audiences see ceremonies, statements, and public appearances, the private reality involves decisions that balance tradition, duty, and humanity. By addressing this reality openly within the palace walls, Charles demonstrated that the monarchy's survival depends not only on ceremony or law, but on the wisdom to recognize the human side behind the crown. In this context, the signing of the document becomes more than a legal procedure. It becomes a reflection of leadership tempered by humanity, foresight guided by responsibility, and courage expressed through honesty. It is a reminder that behind every title lies a person, and behind every throne lies the reality that even kings have limits. And planning around those limits is the ultimate act of care for both institution and heirs. What does this mean for Prince William? This document may not crown Prince William today, but its implications are far-reaching, reshaping the very framework of his role within the monarchy. For centuries, heirs lived in a world defined by waiting, passive, observant, and largely sidelined until the inevitable moment arrived. A sudden death, a crisis, or an incapacity would thrust them into responsibility overnight, leaving no time for adjustment, reflection, or preparation. That system, while traditional, William experienced that waiting firsthand, carrying the weight of expectation while remaining largely on the sidelines. Now everything has shifted, quietly but profoundly. The legal mechanism introduced by King Charles creates a formal pathway for responsibility to be shared in a measured, deliberate way. This isn't about rushing, seizing power, or forcing change through emergency. It's about structure, foresight, and balance. William's role transitions from passive heir to active participant, with clearly defined responsibilities that can expand gradually over time. He can now gain hands-on experience without the stress of abrupt authority, and he can learn the intricacies of kingship while the institution continues to function smoothly under his father's guidance. The shift also changes perception. William is no longer simply next in line. He is recognized within a legal and constitutional framework as a partner in leadership, someone whose contributions are formalized rather than assumed. That recognition carries power, not the dramatic, headline-making kind, but the steady, stabilizing influence that ensures the monarchy adapts to modern realities. It enables William to build confidence, develop relationships with key advisors, and understand the nuances of international diplomacy and domestic governance in a controlled and structured environment. This document transforms succession from a reactive process into a proactive one. The crown no longer waits for loss or crisis to dictate change. It now allows planning, intention, and foresight to guide the transfer of responsibility. For William, that means preparation without pressure, involvement without upheaval, and influence without disruption. It protects him from the shock of sudden transition while honoring his father's continuing authority and service. The personal implications are equally significant. Father and son can navigate this new system together, maintaining respect, collaboration, and continuity. The document ensures that Charles's decades of experience remain accessible while gradually integrating William into the practical realities of kingship. That shared responsibility strengthens their relationship, reduces risk, and signals a more adaptable, resilient monarchy. In essence, William steps into a new era of measured preparation, no longer waiting in the shadows, but gradually assuming authority within a stable, legal, and thoughtful framework. The monarchy benefits from continuity, the king maintains control while mentoring the next generation, and the heir gains experience without the pressure of sudden, unplanned responsibility. This single, quietly enacted change redefines what it means to be next in line, setting a precedent that may shape royal succession for generations to come. Why will this moment matter years from now? Many viewers will move on from this story quickly. That reaction is understandable on the surface. Nothing seemed dramatic. There were no loud announcements, no breaking news banners flashing across television screens, and no crowds gathering outside the palace gates. The world barely noticed. Yet history rarely arrives with fanfare. Some of the most consequential moments are quiet, almost invisible at the time. They are the ones that historians later identify as pivotal, as turning points that changed everything, even if nobody realized it in the moment. Think about it. A signature on a document made in a dimly lit room, late at night, might seem ordinary. But that ordinary act carries extraordinary weight. The document signed by King Charles wasn't merely ink on paper. It was a deliberate step that intertwined tradition with foresight. Every clause, every word, every legal nuance was carefully considered to ensure that the monarchy could continue to function smoothly while adapting to the realities of the modern world. And that is precisely why its impact will resonate for decades, even centuries, beyond this quiet night. History doesn't always announce itself loudly. Often, it arrives subtly. It's a carefully timed decision, in a choice to act before the pressures of public scrutiny take hold. The world outside the room was asleep, oblivious, yet inside a critical pivot was happening, one that could reshape the monarchy's future. Years from now, scholars, journalists, and royal experts may point back to this moment as a key example of strategic foresight. They may analyze the timing, the method, and the meticulous care with which this document was signed, understanding how one night quietly set a new standard for governance, succession, and adaptation. Many will not notice this immediately, and that is part of the design. The monarchy is an institution built on longevity, not on fleeting headlines. Dramatic gestures may capture attention, but it is the quiet, well-considered moves that leave a lasting legacy. By signing this document in secrecy, King Charles avoided unnecessary controversy and speculation. He didn't need applause or validation. He acted to safeguard the institution, ensuring continuity while embracing a pragmatic approach to modern challenges. This document represents more than just legal formalities. It is a framework, a blueprint for the future. While many may see it as an isolated event, it is in reality a cornerstone for succession, authority, and stability. It is designed to prevent disputes before they arise, to clarify the line of succession, and to secure the monarchy's role in a world that is increasingly fast-paced and unpredictable. By doing so, it merges tradition with practicality, showing that honoring the past does not have to mean ignoring the present, nor resisting the future. This wasn't an ending, it was a beginning that ensures the monarchy can continue, adapt, and remain relevant without sacrificing its identity. The quiet significance of this act may only become fully apparent with time. Future generations will likely study this night as a moment when foresight, discretion, and careful planning outweighed spectacle, demonstrating that power exercised wisely often speaks louder than power displayed publicly. Even small actions like this, often unnoticed in real time, can echo through history. One signature, one late-night decision can influence decades of governance, succession, and royal protocol. And that is why, while the public may overlook it now, the document's importance will only grow as time passes. Its true value lies not in immediate recognition, but in the way it subtly, yet firmly, reshapes the framework for the monarchy's future. By blending respect for tradition with a forward-looking perspective, this document ensures that the crown is not only maintained, but strengthened. It reflects a careful acknowledgement of reality, that institutions must evolve to survive, that stability often requires quiet preparation, and that true leadership sometimes acts in the shadows rather than the spotlight. What happened overnight wasn't about fear, it was about foresight. King Charles didn't step aside, he didn't surrender authority. Instead, he acknowledged something every institution eventually must. Time changes how power should be carried. This document doesn't weaken the crown, it protects it. It allows leadership to adjust without chaos. It gives Prince William space to grow into responsibility without being thrown into it by emergency. And it spares the public the uncertainty that sudden transitions create. Most people will never read this document. They won't know the exact clauses or legal language, but they will live with its effects, because the strongest systems are not the ones that refuse change, but the ones that prepare for it quietly. The crown didn't move overnight, but its future did. And now that this door has been opened, the monarchy will never function the same way again. If you want to understand what comes next and why this moment matters more than it seems, stay tuned.